Welcome back everyone to Showbiz India, and today it's a personal pleasure to welcome one of my favorite actresses. I haven't seen her in a while, but if it's possible, she actually looks more stunning than before. A very warm welcome to Shilpa Shetty Kundra. Sorry, it took me a minute because I'm only used to Shilpa Shetty.
But thank you, Reshma.
So good to see you.
Thank you. It's an absolute pleasure to be on this show because, as she said, it's more personal than professional.
So much has happened since we last connected, professionally and personally. Actually,
Yes.
You got married.
Yes.
You have a beautiful son. Congratulations.
Yes. Touch wood.
Let's start with that. How has motherhood changed you think?
Oh, I think I've done a 360-degree turn. And you know what I mean. It's something that is that can't really be put into words. It's an emotion that you feel when you become a mother. And I think it really is the best thing I've done in my life, to get married and to have a baby. It's the best role I've ever played. Yeah.
I can just imagine. And as a mother, you still are working as well.
Yes.
And yet you're hands-on mother. And obviously you're multifaceted and multi-talented. We all know that.
And multitasking right now.
And you're doing this tour. Let's talk about this tour right now.
Yes.
This tour is a very good concept. It's about women empowerment. You're talking about your wellness. Tell me what motivated you to, because it's a very hectic schedule.
It is. It's been the first 12 days that I've spent away from my husband and my son. And it's been really hard, but like I said before, I really thank technology and thank God for being able to see my son on FaceTime and Skype. I don't think I could have ever taken up this tour if not. And I've just started the wellness series, and it's something that I've been always very passionate about, talking about health, making people more aware of why you should be taking care of yourselves. And not just to look good. I think more people are obsessed about losing weight than keeping better health. And I really hope that concept changes. And with that intent, I've started this website, the shilpashetty.com. And I've taken on this huge onus of going on YouTube and becoming the first celebrity YouTuber from India. And I realized it was so much hard work after I started and embarked on the journey. But I really think that, on the day we launched, it was the most gratifying experience because we had 1.5 million views in that one day. And I realized that, if I could really play a catalyst in bringing about a change and bringing better health into people's lives, why not? It was worth every effort that I put in.
Absolutely. And I think, like you said, the key is about too many people are just obsessed with losing weight.
Yes.
You need to be obsessed with being well overall from the inside
Exactly.
out. And that's what yoga teaches you.
Yes.
And you're obviously a very big yogi. By the way, I do some yoga too. Nothing is compared to you. But I know you've been doing a lot of yoga classes and demonstrations all over the country, and you have one coming up in Jaipur.
Yes, so I'm doing one in Jaipur as well. So like I said, I've taken it upon myself to actually spread the word. And yes, I'm doing the first congregation in Jaipur. We're doing it in April, on the 18th and 19th. And the first one is only for women. And we have nearly, I think, 8,000 people going to be there on the first day. And then the second day is for families. So I just think that, under this umbrella of the shilpashetty.com, I am trying to make an amalgam of a fusion of four, which is yoga, nutrition, teaching people how to cook their own food. The whole concept of, making food from scratch is somewhere just dwindling. People just are happy with ready-made packaged foods, fast food, aerated drinks, even not knowing how to eat their food. They're not chewing their food. They're not teaching their children the old ways of living, not giving them ghee, clarified butter. We come from a country that has such amazing stuff, and I keep saying this, and I'm even going to be repetitive, but I keep harping on the fact that Madonna actually smears clarified butter on her gluten-free toast and gloats about it. and talks about coconut, coconut sugar and coconut oil. And we come from a country that actually has all this stuff, and we've lived on it for I don't know how many years, but suddenly this generation is kind of, steering away from that. And while the West is actually looking towards us in the East and trying to, emulate what we have done in terms of, yoga. And if you see, America is huge on yoga. And Holland and Barrett, you go to London, places virgin coconut oil on the top shelf, and it's priced so heavily. So I just feel that, we need to start valuing what we have, and I just want to bring focus to that. And I want to bring focus to the fact that, our ancestors have led quality or qualitative lives compared to us. I just feel that where our lives are really so fast-paced that we're not focusing inward, we're not breathing. We don't have the time to take a breath of fresh air. Like inhale, like. Yoga.
Exactly.
So we don't do that. So talking of, so the art of balance, yoga, nutrition, cooking, and the art of strengthening. Like every body is going to get weak over time. And they say that your body makes a shift, the human body makes a shift every 12 years. So you will see a definitive change in your body every 12 years. It's just human. But growing old is obviously is something that you have to go through, but how you age is left up to you. So I just think that you can actually change the way you age with good food, with the way you take care of yourself, some kind of holistic way of kind of balancing your body, your inner with the outer, would definitely make a big difference on the way you look.
Now, with your shoulders facing forward, allow your head to fall towards your right shoulder so that your right ear approaches the top of your right shoulder. Repeat all the neck flexes.
To your point, like I said, I do yoga myself, and I go to yoga studios here, and there's barely any Indians here anymore at the yoga studios. I mean, there's every race there.
Yeah, and it is also very expensive, let me tell you. So I wanted it to be more accessible to people. So it's free. You can just YouTube me and you can see me, and you'll learn different routines. You'll have core workouts, stuff that can actually change the way you look at workouts. It's not going to be as complicated, and health tips, mantras to motivate you. And I'm going to be cooking for people for the first time. So if I can cook, anyone can cook.
Okay, so tell me, what's your favorite dish to cook?
Well, right now the one that's gone viral is jeera chicken, and I've made it in ghee, clarified butter. So anyone who's like on a ketogenic diet, keto diets are really in right now all over the world, and I think it works really well if you've got a lot of fat to shed. So it was obviously keeping in mind that, and also the fact that ghee is great for you. It also helps you break down protein.
अगर आप बीटरूट को कम्प्लीटली एलिमिनेट करना चाहते हैं तो ये भी कर सकते हैं. आप बीटरूट के बजाय दूधी का इस्तेमाल कर सकते हैं. तो इसमें टेस्ट में बस थोड़ा सा स्वीट कम रहेगा, which still works, लेकिन थोड़ा सा जो स्वीटनेस कैरेट्स में है वो इम्पैक्ट करेगा इस डिश में.
Now switching back to your illustrious movie career, I want to walk down memory lane with you for a minute. Your first film, Bazigar, was, wow, I know I told you I'll walk down, was a huge success, and you made a mark for yourself even though you were not the leading lady.
Yes.
What is perhaps one of your fondest memory from that film?
Definitely not the one that had me falling down the building where Shah Rukh just pushes me off the building. The fondest memory, I think, was the sheer fact that I knew nothing. I was just so young that when I was offered the film, I was so naive that I told the director that I won't do a kissing scene, because when he narrated the film script to me, he said to me, "This is the remake of Kiss Before Dying," and I was like, "But I'm not going to do a kissing scene." I was so naive, so I was really dumb, and they really nurtured me. They really taught me everything there was, to learn on that. That was actually my acting school, Bazigar. And when I did the film, like I said to you, I had no idea or intent to become an actor. So it was offered to me, I did it. I was really looking at doing something interesting. And the film became a platinum jubilee hit. And I had way too many memories for me to just single out after that. It was just huge amount of recognition for a 17-year-old. It was like actually too much.
Also
yeah, nominated. Yeah, so it was amazing. So I guess being thrown off the balcony wasn't a bad thing after all.
It worked.
The terrace, actually, not even balcony. Yeah.
I remember watching that scene and freezing.
Yeah, and in the theater, the fondest memory was actually this, and suddenly it's come to me. I was in the theater with a cap because the film became such a rage that every actor, even the small character actors, had become famous. So I'd gone to watch the film in the theater, and I was sitting there in the back row, and these two boys were there in the front. And Shah Rukh throws me off, and I'm like dead. And one is saying to the other, nahi, heroine hai, uthegi. They just couldn't get over the fact that I was dead. They were like, no, she's going to come to life. And I just think that that's what made me into a star. When the audience wants to see more of you, that's when you know that, okay, they like you.
Obviously, you did many other films in between.
62.
62, wow, overall.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
62 films, yeah.
But I think, if I'm not mistaken, perhaps also another turning point in your career was after Dhadkan, where they started taking you as a very serious actress.
Yeah.
Not just glamorous.
I just think the film industry has gone through various phases. There was a time where women were just relegated to just doing the song and dance routine, and only very few heroines, maybe like a Sridevi or a Madhuri, would get like meaty roles, because the industry is very male dominated. So I got into the industry 23 years ago, I remember, and at that point in time, nobody even narrated like the whole script to us. And I was like, what the heck, I'm getting paid my money, and this is great pocket money, I'm getting famous. I don't have to continue with college. I hated going to college. I was like, what's the use of trigonometry and cosine and cosec? Where the hell am I ever going to use that? So I was like, may as well just dance around the trees and make loads of money. So that was the way I was looking at it. So I didn't take what I was doing as seriously, maybe, till Dharmesh Darshan wanted me to take myself seriously. And he offered me Dhadkan, which was again a woman-oriented role, where two men were vying for this woman's love. And it was a very meaty part, and he reinvented me. So where I was always known as this glamorous heroine, and someone who was very sexy and danced her way around, and that was my USP. Each heroine always had a USP, and he was like, he just wanted me to shed that old image of mine, and he said, I want to represent you. And he said, I don't want you to show me any skin. I want you to be clad from head to toe, and I want your hair out of those curlers. I want it all straight. So he really changed the way I look. He made me change and modulate my voice, and that was Dhadkan, and people loved it, because I really believe that money doesn't make movies. A film has to have soul, and Dhadkan had soul. It was a very poignant love story. It had the most amazing songs that are timeless even today, and I think it was just a great combination of a lot of things.
And not to deny, I do love your item numbers, and you're the original.
Me too.
But two of my favorite films, I've been thinking which one is my favorite, but I have to say, I can't pin down one. It's two of my favorite films.
Oh, really?
Phir Milenge and Life in a Metro.
Yeah.
Tell me about those.
So, Phir Milenge again is a film that is very close to my heart, because that kind of awakened me as a social activist, and it made me realize how terrible it must feel to be diagnosed with, HIV, and not just be diagnosed, and after that, not being given the respect that you deserve. And it's just apathy. It's just people who don't know too much about the subject. And I decided to take it up personally after the film was over, because once you've played that part, it just became part of me. Like, there were sequences that I was shooting for, I remember, in the movie, and I've been thrown out of my job because my boss comes to know that I've been diagnosed with HIV, and he throws me out, and I'm dropped unceremoniously. And while doing that shot, I just burst out crying even after the director had called cut. So Revati has been an actor before, so I just kept crying unconsolably after the shot, and it really took me some time for me to get out of it, because it sunk into me that day how blessed we are, and how difficult it must be to live with being HIV positive and AIDS. And so I went on this rampage after that, and it was such a revelation for me, that character. It was actually quite a catharsis as an artist, and it really is one of the most beautiful films I've been part of.
Life in a metro is also very different.
Yes, so Life in a Metro happened at a time when I was actually stagnating, and then I went in, I actually left the film halfway to do Big Brother. And I remember Anurag Basu telling me, we'll shoot the rest of it when you come back. I thought I'll be out of Big Brother in a week's time. I don't think I'd be lasting out there that long.
And the rest is history.
Yeah, and I won it, and the film took even longer to make, because I was in London for like a good 6 months after that, and they were like, don't worry, take your time. And then lo and behold, I came back, shot for it, and it was the first Hindi film to have premiered on Leicester Square. Yeah, at Leicester Square. And so I think everything happens for the best. So it was, again, a beautiful part, a very complicated character to portray. Someone who is married and actually has emotions for another man. So it was a very, very precarious path to tread. But I remember people saying that, they wanted me to leave my husband because he was so ghastly and so terrible to me that they wanted me to actually run away with the other man. So that's when a character works.
So in conclusion, I've been asked to wrap up. I know you've been very
we can keep faffing for ages. Yeah.
I know. I'm going to switch gears totally, because I have to say I've always been a big fan of your mother's.
Yeah.
Always. She's just amazing, as you know.
Yeah.
And she did something very, very bold. Unfortunately, your father passed away. Our condolences. And she did something very bold, which I think as a woman I'm so proud of. She decided not to let go of her bindi and the colored sari.
We all told her that.
And, and that's part of her persona.
Yeah.
So as a woman, tell me your thoughts when your mom decided to do that.
No, actually, we had this discussion, and Shamita, mom, and me, we're just 3 women now after dad. And I still believe he's there. And my father doted on mom. And he wouldn't ever let her buy or wear anything that was beige, forget white, And he loved her with her bindi, and that was her personality, and her red lipstick. And I've never seen my mother without eyeliner. And my father was obsessed with eyeliner, so much so that he'd look at me and he'd actually snarl at me and say, look at your mother, look at you. Go wear some eyeliner. So that was my dad. I mean, God bless his soul. And so when dad passed on, I told mom, I was like, there's no way in hell you're going to change anything about you, because dad loved you the way you are. And why should you change your life, So you have to be remembered and loved for who you are. And society is not going to decide on that. And we don't have to live by the norms of society. And she's someone, I think Shamita and I have turned out to be the women that we are because of her, because of the values that she's inculcated in us. And I think we come across as very strong women because of the way she is. So I remember that post on Facebook where she talked about her bindi, and at my father's 4th day, My mom was the only one in a blue sari while everyone turned up in white and she wore her red bindi. And we were like, great, good on you, because this is the way we should be. We have to lead, we have to, you know, remember and celebrate his life. We're not mourning anymore, you know. He lived a very happy life. And we don't care about what people have to think, say, whatever. My mom, we love her, and I admire the fact that she's so brave, and she's truly my rock of Gibraltar, and I wouldn't want to see her without her bindi.
Absolutely, and I admire and respect all of you even more. I felt so happy that day when I read that post.
I know.
All right, well, until next time, your star continues to rise. Wishing you continued success.
Thank you, Reshma. Thank you so very much.